I think we're all quite excited that it could be the so-called flood tunnel booby trap system. Of course, we're going to investigate.
There's definitely a void below these rocks.
It lines up exactly with the anomaly, so it is the anomaly.
Have you ever found yourself drawn in by stories of hidden treasure? Few places in the world carry legends as gripping and mysterious as Oak Island. Just off the coast of Nova Scotia, this unassuming island has, for hundreds of years, attracted the attention of treasure seekers, historians, and the simply curious. What lies beneath its surface? Could it be ancient relics, caches of gold, or even pieces of history that could change everything we thought we knew? Oak Island's pull isn't only about what may be buried there. It's also about the unanswered questions and ongoing mystery. So join us as we explore what Rick and Marty Lagina have uncovered during their tireless search for the truth hidden beneath this island. Every adventure starts with a moment of curiosity. For brothers Rick and Marty Lagina, that moment happened when they were still kids. While plenty of children imagine stories of buried treasure and lost maps, this wasn't just a childhood fantasy for the Laginas. It was the beginning of something that would shape their futures. Growing up, they had already heard about Oak Island and the legends that surrounded it. Tales of hidden codes, clever traps, and buried valuables had been passed around for generations. For most people, they were just old stories, fun to hear but easy to dismiss. But Rick was different. He believed in them and felt a deep connection to those stories. At just 10 years old, Rick had an experience that fueled his fascination even more. He found a large granite rock in Kingsford and became convinced it was hiding something inside. He tried to uncover its secret, but nothing came of it. Still, that moment lit a spark that never went out. But for the Laginas, this was never just about striking it rich. It was about the adventure, the history, and the possibility of discovery. While others were drawn to Oak Island by dreams of gold, Rick and Marty were hooked by its historical depth and the chance to peel back layers of the past. Stories ranged from Marie Antoinette's lost riches to theories that Francis Bacon's or Shakespeare's writings might be buried there. Add in evidence of ancient cultures, and it was clear why the brothers found the island so fascinating. As time went on, life took its course. The brothers took on jobs, raised families, and handled everyday responsibilities, and their Oak Island dreams had to be put on pause. But some passions don't just fade away. They stick with you, quietly waiting for the right time to return. That time finally came when Rick and Marty decided to purchase a major share in Oak Island Tours. It wasn't just a business decision, it was a statement. They were ready to fully commit to solving the mystery. But they didn't go in alone. One of their smartest choices was teaming up with Dan Blankenship, a well-known Oak Island figure who had spent more than 50 years working there. This partnership showed they were serious. They weren't just hobbyists chasing legends. They were dedicated to uncovering real answers. Oak Island had seen many searchers over the years. Each brought new tools for digging, drilling, and exploring.
Marty said that Michelle could drop it. See if we have something in there, so
Okay.
let's let him drop it 3 times.
And have them keep monitoring it?
Yep, every 3 we're monitoring.
In earlier times, it was mostly shovels and basic equipment. Later came more advanced machines. But no matter how advanced the gear got, the island always pushed back. Flooded tunnels, caved-in shafts, and false leads made progress difficult. What looked like a breakthrough one day could fall apart the next. This is where Rick and Marty's approach made a difference. Marty's background in engineering and Rick's drive helped them think beyond conventional methods. They didn't just rely on what was available. They brought in cutting-edge tech. They used the latest drilling systems, sonar, and imaging tools to get a clearer picture of what was hidden below the surface. Ground-penetrating radar gave them insights, and diver-powered suction tools helped clear hard-to-reach spots. Every piece of equipment showed their commitment to going further than anyone else had before. Still, even the best tools need the right people. The brothers built a team that combined longtime Oak Island explorers with new specialists. Each person added something important. Gary Drayton's metal detecting skills, the geologists who could interpret the island's soil and rock formations, everyone played a role. When one method didn't work, they tried another. This variety in skills and approaches kept the momentum going strong. In their determined search, what made Rick and Marty stand out wasn't just the equipment they used or the people they brought together. It was the way they approached the island, with a combination of respect for history, excitement for the present, and optimism about the future. They weren't simply after treasure. They saw themselves as guardians of a story, and every method they used reflected that sense of duty. As another day of digging came to a close, the equipment would power down, and the island would settle back into its usual stillness. But for the Lagina brothers and their crew, the mission never stopped. The drive to uncover answers stayed alive in their minds, always fueled by the hope of a new discovery. Armed with their tools, surrounded by a loyal team, and guided by experience, they kept moving forward, adding new pages to Oak Island's ongoing story. Searching for treasure on Oak Island, with its tangled legends, hidden traps, and unpredictable landscape, was never only about riches. It was a path into the past, a way of uncovering history piece by piece, where every find helped expand the story. Over time, numerous items were recovered, each carrying a possible link to the broader mystery. Among the first major discoveries was a group of engraved stones. Though worn down by time and the elements, the markings they carried pointed toward ancient roots, suggesting ties to long-lost civilizations or, perhaps, secret groups. These stones sparked fresh interest and made the team revisit old theories, pushing their search in new directions they hadn't considered before. Another major find came in the form of coconut fiber, uncovered deep within the money pit. Its presence didn't make sense, since coconut trees don't grow in that part of the world. This meant the fiber had been brought from somewhere far away. It raised new possibilities. Could pirates from tropical regions have played a role? Or had traders from overseas visited? The foreign material added a global element to the island's history, shifting how people thought about its past. One of the most emotional discoveries was a collection of old coins from various time periods and parts of the world. These coins had likely been carried by the many people who had walked Oak Island before. From ancient Roman pieces to Spanish gold coins, each one carried a trace of its journey, of ambition, risk, and maybe even betrayal. To Rick, Marty, and the team, these weren't just artifacts. They were solid proof that Oak Island had drawn interest for generations. Oak Island, with its age-old secrets and endless speculation, has kept searchers coming back for generations. While many items have helped shed light on parts of its story, others have raised more questions than answers. These puzzling objects continue to remind people just how deep the mystery runs. One example is the bone fragments found far down inside the money pit. The fact that human remains were buried that deep was hard to explain. Who did they belong to? What circumstances led them there? Theories ranged from hidden burials to accidents, but the full truth is still unknown. Just as confusing was the piece of parchment found, with writing still visible. It was surprising that such a fragile item could survive in such wet, harsh conditions. Though the writing was limited, it gave the impression of a document, possibly related to the treasure or its history. Some guessed it was part of a logbook. Others thought it might be a fragment from a much older text. Whatever the case, finding it so deep below the island's surface added yet another layer to the mystery. One of the most discussed discoveries was a piece of pottery. At first glance, it looked ordinary, but its importance came from where it was found and how old it might be. Could this shard be a remnant left behind by the original creators of the money pit? Or did it once belong to a different, previously unidentified group of explorers? The artifact's style and detail stood out. It didn't match anything typically found in nearby areas, suggesting it may have originated from far away, possibly even from another continent. Another curious find was a collection of very old ship nails. These weren't just typical hardware. The way they were made and the materials used pointed to a time before Europeans were known to have reached the region. Could these nails be leftovers from an ancient shipwreck? Or do they show that someone had explored the island long before recorded history suggests? The possibilities raised by such a find could shift what we know about early sea travel. Then there was the stone with unusual carvings, a discovery that left many scratching their heads. The symbols weren't clearly hieroglyphs or runes. They seemed to be a mix, hard to decode. This stone quickly became a focal point for all kinds of theories. Maybe it came from a civilization that had some knowledge of the Americas long before others. Or maybe it was linked to secret groups trying to pass on hidden messages. The stone itself didn't offer any answers, but it stirred up speculation with every glance. An old brooch with its gemstones still intact was another find that added a personal touch to the mystery. Who owned it? Was it lost during a journey, or placed intentionally to signal something important? Its age and beauty made it more than just an accessory. It hinted at personal stories behind the search for answers on Oak Island. Over time, Oak Island's mysterious past has become linked with famous figures and groups from history. Stories about hidden treasure, lost artifacts, and secret tunnels have fueled connections between the island and some of history's most well-known names. From Marie Antoinette to the Templars and even the Vikings, the legends involving these characters only add to Oak Island's reputation. Marie Antoinette, France's final queen before the French Revolution, is remembered for luxury and extravagance. As the revolution swept through France, rumors started spreading about the queen's desperate efforts to hide her fortune. Some claim that part of this treasure made its way to North America. According to these stories, her jewels and gold were quietly transported across the Atlantic under the cover of secrecy, hidden far from the chaos in Europe. Oak Island, with its hidden chambers and built-in defenses, became a likely place for such an operation. The theory suggests that her loyal followers, hoping to recover the treasure someday and restore the monarchy, selected the island for its privacy and strategic location. Reports of rare gemstones and detailed jewelry found on the island have only added fuel to this story. But, as compelling as it sounds, there's still no solid proof linking the Queen directly to Oak Island. In the hunt for Oak Island's answers, it's easy to lean toward grand stories that tie its puzzles to legendary figures who have captured people's imaginations for generations. The tragic fate of Marie Antoinette, the mysterious past of the Templars, and the adventurous spirit of the Vikings all provide dramatic backdrops for the Oak Island mystery. But, like with all folklore, a careful approach is necessary. It's important to look past the rumors, guesses, and embellishments to get closer to the facts. The truth behind Oak Island may involve one of these legends, several of them, or perhaps none at all. It might even lead to something entirely different, something more unexpected than any of these stories suggest. And maybe that's the island's greatest offering. It's not just about gold or jewels hidden in the ground. It's about the journey of discovery, the excitement of the chase, and the stories that unfold along the way. Whether searching for a queen's lost jewels, sacred relics of warrior monks, or the remains left by seafaring Norsemen, Oak Island reminds us that sometimes the pursuit itself matters as much as, if not more than, the treasure at the end. In the ongoing story of Oak Island's mystery, the ongoing battle between nature's resistance and human determination has been quite a show. Over the centuries, each new generation attempting to unlock the island's secrets has faced a maze of obstacles. But lately, the balance seems to be shifting. The combination of advanced technology and relentless effort has revived hopes of finally solving the Oak Island puzzle. Our era, often called the technological renaissance, has given treasure hunters tools their predecessors could only imagine. High-resolution ground-penetrating radar, sophisticated underwater drones, and modern metal detectors have turned the search from a guessing game into a more targeted effort. These tools, along with scientific techniques for dating and analysis, provide a new perspective on old discoveries and help explore fresh leads. Ground-penetrating radar, in particular, has changed the search dramatically. It lets explorers see beneath the surface, revealing unusual formations or man-made structures without digging blindly. Using this technology, several previously unknown cavities and possible tunnels have been found, offering new clues and renewing interest in known spots. The waters around Oak Island, once murky and reluctant to reveal their secrets, have become more accessible thanks to underwater drones. These remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, can dive deeper and stay underwater longer than human divers, capturing clear footage of the ocean floor. Recent missions with ROVs uncovered potential shipwrecks and underwater objects, pointing to the maritime activity that once surrounded the island. While these finds are exciting, they also add to the mystery. Every artifact, every new clue, seems to raise more questions than it answers. Who were these early European visitors? Were they explorers, refugees, or treasure carriers? How did they build such complex tunnels and traps with the technology available at the time? And most importantly, what were they trying to protect so fiercely? In this current chapter of Oak Island's story, what stands out is the balance between respect for history and excitement for what's next. The latest technology isn't just equipment, it's a connection linking today's explorers to the original creators of the island's secrets. There's an unspoken exchange, a shared respect. The Oak Island mystery has always been a mix of emotions: hope, greed, curiosity, and obsession. But now, as treasure hunters stand close to possible breakthroughs, there's also a sense of humility. Facing nature's puzzle and the skill of past generations, the modern explorer understands that the quest isn't just about finding treasure, but about learning our shared history, satisfying our curiosity, and continuing the timeless search for the unknown. The current hunt on Oak Island, supported by technology and guided by history, remains a clear example of humanity's never-ending spirit of discovery. The story of Oak Island has long been tied to the lure of hidden treasure, a call that has drawn many over time. But beyond gold and jewels, another kind of treasure has appeared recently: the business opportunities linked to the search. As history, entertainment, and commerce blend, Oak Island has grown into more than just a site of archaeological interest. It's also become a profitable enterprise. The story of any treasure hunt is naturally compelling. It mixes mystery, history, and the drive of the human spirit. Seeing this appeal, entrepreneurs and TV producers have cleverly turned the Oak Island tale into documentaries, series, and merchandise, bringing the island's charm to viewers around the world. The popular TV series following the search, for example, helped turn Oak Island from a local story into a global sensation. With millions watching each week, eager to follow the latest find, the advertising revenue has been substantial. Then there's the island itself. As the story spread and interest grew, Oak Island attracted more tourists. Visitors from all over the world came to walk the same grounds once explored by treasure hunters of the past. This increase led to the creation of guided tours, souvenir shops, and themed events. Hotels, bed and breakfasts, and restaurants nearby saw a boost from the growing number of visitors. The local economy, once dependent on traditional industries, found new energy thanks to the tales of hidden treasure. So what are your thoughts on this mystery? Tell us in the comments below and subscribe to our channel for more content.